What is up, guys? It's Kyler from Team Moon. Today we're going to give you a deck profile on my Zoodiac True Draco deck for the upcoming format going into the North American World Championship qualifiers. And before we get started, I'd like to just thank you guys for all of the support that you've shown me in the last little while. I know my subscriber base has grown by probably 2 times, which is great. I'm getting lots of views on my videos, and it's all because of you guys, and I thank you so much for that. And without further ado, let's get right into the deck. So starting off, you're going to run your 2 Masterpiece. You're not going to run 3 because you don't want to hard draw it. And a lot of the time you can brick, like if you draw it without any other combo pieces. So 2 is fine, he's very searchable. You're playing 2 Rats, standard. You're playing 3 Whiptail, pretty standard. 2 Ram. Now this is particularly good in the build because you can pop it with Diagram to get pluses that way. So it's not just popping it with your own Dryden on your first turn to summon Emerald. You can also pop it with Diagram to get a free search as well, so it's great. And we're playing 1 Thoroughblade. We're not playing multiple Thoroughblades because we don't really have room for it in the deck. It's already more than 40 cards as is. And the only way you can brick is by drawing too many Zoodiac monsters, so we cut that ratio down. Next, you're playing 3 Battle Baboons. Now, this card's great. In Pure Zoo, it's terrible because you don't really have ways to pop it other than Barrage. But in this deck, you have 12 ways to pop it. You have your 3 Diagrams, your 3 Terraformings, which are just probably the best way you're going to pop it in your hand. You have 3 Ghost Ogres to pop it as well, which sounds like a neg, but it actually helps you go off and do consistent plays that way as well. And you also have your 3 Barrage to pop it, so it's pretty much never dead in your hand. You're not really going to normal summon it, but because the deck really kind of needs its normal summon for the Zoodiac monsters, but if you don't have access to them really, you can normal summon this to fix your clunky hands. Next, we're playing a Tech Zephyros. This is good with Diagram as well. It lets you get 2 uses out of 1 Diagram. It's great if you draw it, but if you don't draw it, you can search it with 4 Strix in the extra deck, so it's great. Amazing card. Next, we're moving on to hand traps. We're playing 3 Ghost Ogre, probably the best hand trap in the format. If you're not playing 3 Ghost Ogre, you're not playing too many games you're winning, I would say. Next, we're playing 2 Cherries in the main deck. This deck is built to beat Zoodiac, and it's also a really, really good blowout card. If you resolve this card and hit their Dryden against Pure Zoo, you don't really have much to worry about, because the only thing you're going to have to worry about is probably their trap cards, or maybe a Broad Bowl with a Whiptail on it, which you can just easily remove with your Masterpiece anyway, which is not a big deal. And lastly, for the 6 hand shop, we're playing Maxi. It's a blowout card. You need to play this. We're not playing Ash in this deck. We're playing it in the side deck because it's actually not that great against Pure Zoo, which you're trying to beat more often than not. Because going into Nats, I'd say over half the decks are going to be just Pure Zoo, if not 3/4 of the decks. So I mean, you can side it against the True Draco and stuff that you need to. So just those 6 hand traps is fine. On for the spells, we're playing 3 Tenki. You need to play this. It's one of your starter cards. You're playing a lot of starter cards in this deck. Then you're playing 3 Barrage, also essential. It has added synergy by popping your Zephyros and all that stuff, and your Battle Baboon, so it's just crazy. We're playing 2 My Bodies in the main. It's a really, really good card this format. A lot of people are playing as a staple of 3, and I tried to fit 3 in here, but I just can't really find the room. Also in testing, I found myself dead drawing the second one at the same time when I was playing 3. So 2 is fine for right now. Next, we're playing 2 Forbidden Chalice. This card's insane. It's also even better in this deck because there's a cool interaction with Diagram where you can activate Diagram and they try to pop it with their Dryden or something. You can chain Forbidden Chalice in your hand, targeting their Dryden to negate the effect. And since Diagram isn't getting popped anymore, you use Diagram's effect to pop the Chalice that you just activated in the same chain, because it's still on the field when it resolves. So it's just a really, really great card in this deck. And lastly, we're playing a Quick Play Dimensional Barrier as a spell card. This card's insane. Versus Zoo, you book the Rat, and that's the end of their turn. Next, we're playing the 3 Diagram. You have to play these. You want to search your Masterpiece and your spells and traps. It's crazy. This card's such a good combo extender in this deck with Ram. Zephyros, and the Battle Baboon. So it's crazy. And they play 3 more copies of Diagram. You want to see it in every opening hand, pretty much. It's never really dead as well. Like, you can search the second Diagram and just pop the Diagram in your hand. It's no big deal. And lastly, for the spells, you're playing 1 Heritage. You're only playing 1 because you want to run a small engine for the Draco cards. Like, other than the field spells, you're running 4 cards, which is 2 Masterpiece, 1 Trap, 1 Spell. Because you don't want to draw these. You want to search these every time. If you draw these, they don't do anything for you, if you know what I mean. So just 1 is fine. Next time for the traps, you're playing the 1 Warning, and we're playing the 3 Strikes. The Warning is really, really good against the True Draco matchup because obvious reasons, and Strike's just a really good card in general. The reason why I'm not running Dimensional Barrier in the main deck is because its best usage is against Zoo, which I do think is going to be most of the decks, but you can only side in that game 2 and 3 anyway. And Solemn Strike is better against every single deck. Like, Solemn Strike hits every deck where D-Barrier doesn't hit every deck. And I think the other biggest deck going to be at Nats this year is going to be the True Draco deck, which D-Barrier doesn't hit at all. So I'd rather have more live cards in the main deck and make it less bricky. And just have consistency over power in that sense, even though this deck is less consistent than Zoo, but is more powerful than Zoo. And then we're playing the True King trap card, same reasoning as a spell. And lastly, for the main, we're playing Imperial Order. This card is terrible going second, really, but if you go first and you draw this in your opening hand, you are going to be in a pretty much game-winning state. When I went to my last regionals, I opened this a lot, and every single time I did open it, I won, so I just kept it in there. It's a great card. Now on for the extra deck. It's pretty standard. We're playing 1 Borbo, 1 Hammer Kong, 2 Tiger Mortar, 2 Shakanine. This card's really good in this deck, especially opposed to Pure Zoo, because you can bring back the Ram and pop with Diagram, so that's added utility that way. The only thing weird about this extra deck is I'm only playing 2 Broad Bulls. I do have the third, but I'm only running 2 because in True Draco Zoodiac, you're not really going to want to exhaust all your Zoo resources. Like, you want to increase the longevity of the game if you can, if you have to. And if you need the third one, you can always Emerald 1 back, so it's not really a huge deal. But I did find in testing, when I was running 3, I would just end up searching Zoo monsters every turn for no reason, and eventually I just ran out. And I lost a couple of games for that one reason. So that's why I'm playing 2 Broad Bull. We're playing 3 Dryden. He's your most important Zoo monster. You need a Disruption. And then we're playing, for some generic stuff, we're playing a Tornado Dragon. One of your favorite boards you're going to be making with this deck is you're going to have first turn, you're going to have Dryden, Masterpiece, Tornado Dragon, and then like X number of back row and hand traps. And that's just crazy. Like, versus Zoo, you only have to count for 2 summons, but off Barrage and for the normal summon. So if you come out with this board, it's going to be really, really great for you. Next, we're playing the 1 Force Strix. Like I said, you're playing this because in your Zoo combo, you can do a rank 4 play in the middle of it without like negging anything, and you search the Zephyros and you pop with Diagram and get through 2 searches that way. So it's just insane. You're playing 1 MX Saber Invoker. Pure Zoo can't play this because they don't have Terra Top anymore, but Draco Zoo can still play this because we have Battle Baboon. This card's always been good in Zoo, and if you can summon it, you should probably be running it. And lastly, for the 15th card, we're running 1 Emerald. You're not playing 2 because you're not really going to go into it as much as you were. Like, you're not doing your +4, +5 combos anymore. You're just doing your basic plays, and ending on the Emerald and the Dryden is what's going to happen most of the time. So just the 1 is fine. And onto the side deck. This side deck is basically geared to going second. Like, so if you're going to go second, you're going to have, like, I think it's 11 cards in here for going second, and 4 cards are going first. Because you're going first anyway, and the main deck is already really strong as is. So there's not much you need for that against only against specific matchups. So going second, we have our 11 cards. We have 2 Gamma Seal for the True Draco matchup and stuff like that. 3 Ash in the sideboard for against Demise decks and all that stuff. Against Pure Zoo, we have the extra Reaper because we want to see it every single time against Zoodiac. We're also playing the 3 board wipes, also very essential. When you're going second, you want to let your opponent make their entire board, and you just Draco Regeki, and then that's it. Then we're playing. We're playing 2 Cosmic Cyclone. I was playing Twin Twister, but I decided on Cosmic Cyclone because discarding in this deck is kind of iffy because you don't really want to discard all your resources when you only have so many combo plays you can make. And you need most of your extenders in your hand. So you don't want to just like discard like a Solemn Strike to blow up one back row, you know what I mean, kind of deal. It's also better against True Draco because going first against True Draco, if you set Twin Twister and you destroy their back row, they're still gonna get the effects of their spells and traps on destruction to blow up your own cards. So I found Cosmic Cyclone just working out way better. For going first, we play 2 D-Barrier, not playing 3 because it's terrible when you see more than one at a time. And we're playing 2 Anti-Spell for the same reason as D-Barrier is terrible when you see more than one at a time. But when you do see, it's crazy. This is versus the new Pendulum deck. I think it's really, really strong. They can't play their scales, they can't really win the game. And that's all that needs to be said about that. So looking into forwards and Nats, I think this deck, Pure Zoo and Pure True Draco, are going to be the most represented decks. And instead of just playing True Draco or just playing Zoo, why not play both? Why not play the strongest of the two? So that being said, guys, that's it for the deck profile. Hope to see you guys later. And I'm also going to be bringing you guys some updated profiles for my other decks, like Chainburn and stuff, within the near future. Make sure you hit the sub button. It helps me out a lot. Make sure you like the video and comment and let anybody know who you don't know about my channel. And thanks, guys. This is Kyle from Team Moon signing out.